Joe. Hi everybody. Matt the Greeter here. Oh, we got some nice black-eyed Susans. I like that tree too. Yeah. Flowers and trees, who cares? I don't like that I didn't have to put my foot down when I got up to that stop sign. Well, so far my LED headlight, Custom Dynamics, is working like a charm. Unlike this guy's blinkers. So here we are in old New England. You might think down certain of these streets that that we're approaching autumn. It is mid-August, and it is not autumn in spite of the falling leaves that we have in certain parts of town. But you know, here it is, 2022, the year of the plague. So we're coming off coronavirus, which is settling into a routine visitor, I think. And some kayaks. And well, in the Boston area, I'm not sure how widespread it is, we have an influx of Lance Armstrongs. No, I'm just kidding. We have a heat wave. Yeah, it's a heat wave. It's been lasting quite a little while. And so right now I think it's we've cooled down to the low 90s right now. Here's the intersection, by the way. This is going to be the first time I pull up to it correct, because I always think I'm going to take a right, and there's something about the lay of the land. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the lay of the turn here, because it's a little bit off. Yeah, you're not in the way at all. No shoulder on this road. Let's take our baby down the middle of it. Anyway, yeah, that's a weird one. So you can't tell on the GoPro, but there's a weird angle of the road there. So when you approach that intersection, you got a lot of variables. You got a fence. That's the turn I want to take. You got the blind corners, and you got gravel, and you see the gravel, and you see the natural line of the road. And my inclination is to be too far left, and then I turn the wheel and I end up getting it all wonky and stuff. So that's how that works. Well, that time I went up to it pretty good, but the 3/4 inch gravel is a little bit intimidating, because I know I got to stop, one thing, but then I also got to, those blind corners, I got to really kind of crack the throttle a little bit to get out, and I don't want to tail whip and high side or anything dumb like that. So anyhow, how's your day going? Alright, I'm gonna bang a Yui here. Yeah, that's a New England term, banging a Yui. Some people call it making a U-turn, but not around here. You don't make U-turns here. If you make U-turns here, you're not from here. Alright. Oh, a nice hawk. What we got here? Blue license plate. I don't trust you. Anyhow, yeah, so we've had this crazy heat wave and a big time drought, and not a lot of rain. We have had a lot of meteorological threats from the sky. We've had the roiling black clouds. We've had the convection wind getting sucked up into these storm cells and whatever, and almost no rain. What to speak of? Not enough rain for me to speak clearly. So everything is dying and dead. So we got leaves falling off of certain trees. What I haven't paid attention to is if it's the same type of tree. But the tree's going to throw its little photovoltaic receptors out there. Its little photosynthesis. Toss the leaves out and make food. But if there's no water, they're going to just save the energy. Drop the leaves. Everything back to the roots. We'll try again next year. That's my understanding of it. Might be totally wrong, but anyhow, some of the trees around here are actually doing that. They're losing their leaves. And here we are, mid-August. Early August. Oh, you can see them. I don't know if you can see them falling here. The autumn leaves have jumped the gun. For you Old Testament fans, It is felt very much like a plague year. And you may remember, if you've had to go to certain religious things, or Sunday school, or CCD, or Run DMC, or I don't know, whatever, but God sent plagues back in the day, and plagues were sometimes to punish, but it was a lot of times plagues were sent to get people's attention. How you doing? Really, to get attention. Say like, hey, you have strayed from the way, and you are doing things that aren't good for you, that are only going to result in disaster and death. So to spare you from eternal disaster and death, or an extermination of your village or your clan or whatever, I'm just going to send a plague. This will get your attention, and let's use that to change your ways. I think the most famous example of that is the story of the Hebrew slaves that were in Egypt, and the Pharaoh, who had considered himself a god and demanded to be treated as such, had enslaved the Hebrew people and made them work for him. And Moses came along. Moses Malone. And the whole let my people go, and all that. And so God wanted the people to be free, so he sent Moses and Aaron to talk to Pharaoh and say, hey, let them go. Pharaoh said, I don't think so. So God sent a plague, and then he sent another plague. Pharaoh kept saying no. God kept sending plagues until finally Pharaoh wasn't getting the message. So he sent a really gnarly plague, big time, a huge attention getter. And Pharaoh said, all right, get out of here, grab your stuff and go. And after the Hebrews had left and were going to freedom, Pharaoh changed his mind again. He said, you know what, we had a lot of good free labor there, let's go get it back. He didn't say I made a mistake, but he's like, yeah, let's just go get him. So he sent all his best chariots and all that stuff out. He's got to recapture the slaves that he, in a lack of better judgment in his estimation, to let them go. So off they went. And then, you hear the parting of the Red Sea. Like some people believe that it's just like there was a big wind or something. God sent the wind, and it kind of blew the water back and kind of dried it out in the middle. And the Hebrews walked across, and where there had been no way previously, and because Pharaoh didn't listen, didn't let the Israelites go, he waited till the soldiers and the chariots and the horses and all that were halfway across, and then he let the walls of water come crashing back, and that's the end of that story. So he had some attention-getting plagues there, but they happened. I guess later on. You get those Israelites, Hebrews or whatever, were walking around the desert for a long time. God said, I got a promised land for you, but they weren't listening. You know what I mean? And they kept complaining. So, complain. Oh, we're not, he's feeding us in the desert, but we miss that other food. Maybe we should go back to Egypt. At least we had all the food we wanted, the right kind of food and stuff. And they were kind of misremembering the fact that they were slaves. You know what I mean? So God said, fine, you want meat? So he sent birds flying low over. Here's your meat, so they could clobber them and cook them and eat them. But he also sent like a wasting disease or something came along with it. So a lot of people ended up dying from that. There's, again, attention getter. Like, guys, pay attention here. You're doing stuff that's not good for you, and it's not going to be good for your people long term. Forget the short term, but long term. We got to change. It's like the Titanic, your great big ship with a little tiny rudder. You gotta, your actions now, you're gonna get to a point where no matter how hard you tug on that rudder, it is not gonna turn that ship in time, and there's gonna be a disaster. So these plagues along the way aren't always bad things. So anyhow, this heat wave has reminded me, because we got way too much heat and not enough water here in the Boston area, Massachusetts. Well, in spite of the fact that dingbat in Westwood was washing both of his cars, even though they have a watering ban, but I guess he felt like you know, instead of having enough water, we'd just rather wash his car. So he'll get what's coming to him, I suppose, which is, I don't know, a clean car. But yeah, so we get too much of that stuff here, and we don't and too much water down in the Ozarks or whatever. They get, Kentucky's having these crazy floods. So again, I'm kind of using this as an attention getter, not as like a judgmental thing, but it's kind of like, hey, you know, what's up? What's your status here? You know, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Have I gone off the rails a little bit? Pay attention here. My family's doing just fine. You know, we've got enough water. You know, it is a drought, but we do have enough water, and it's hot. But somebody gifted us an air conditioner, which I say that's a blessing. 2 air conditioners, so we're cool enough. And but you know, you have my attention. So anyhow, that's all I want to say about the heat wave. And, well, I mean, we got gas prices, you know, and heat waves, you know, all these other disasters, and people being awfully cruel to each other, and, you know, gun violence and blah blah blah. It's like, wake up, man, wake up. How you doing? You know, not how you doing, but how are you doing? You know, and is there anything that's out of alignment that you could use these attention getters to correct now while it's early, you know, while the sun is still in the sky, that kind of thing. I don't know, did I talk about anything? There we go, eternal watering bin. Although if you live in Medfield, handheld hose. So that's good. Medfield is not overpopulated yet, so there's enough water to go around. Alright guys, Matt the Greeter, I care about you. I hope you stay warm, or I hope you stay cool. I hope you stay dry, or I hope you get a little rain. I hope someone says or does something kind in your direction today. And I hope to see you again, talk to you again soon. Alright guys, Matt the Greeter, care about you. Bye.